Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I am your host, DBJ, and we are here to talk about all things science fiction and tabletop role playing games. But today we're doing it through the filter of a television series and many other tropish derivations from a series known as La Femme Nikita. So today we're going to take that, and of course, yeah. Drew says, "Yeah, good morning, creatives." I think I have only watched the movie and not the series, and there's been a number of movies, to be honest with you, and it's a bit of a trope. It really is a bit of a trope in the um what's a non-horrible way to describe La Femme Nikita? It's it's the trope of the manic pixie girl badass murderer, and that the manic pixie girl murderer assassin is pretty common. As a matter of fact, I think there's a number of, let's see if I can find, uh, there was an Americanized version of it called Point of No Return. There was, and mind you, this versions of this have been done in anime. There's a, a slight version of it, like I guess the origin of this type of character or this trope of character in uh Leon the Professional. Man, and there's so many others. Okay, but we're going to take the trope, kind of rip it apart a little bit, and use it for our storytelling technique. So what is La Femme Nikita? So in short, let's read a little bit of the synopsis here, okay? So when a homeless young Nikita is framed for the killing of a policeman, she's given a choice: join Section 1 or rot in prison. Section 1 is a secret government organization comprised of some of the smartest, most dangerous, and ruthless people in the world. When Nikita chooses to join Section 1, she is trained to be an elite assassin in the supposed fight against international terrorism. At least that's what Section 1 tells her. Nikita's trainer is emotionless, coldly efficient Michael, with whom Nikita eventually becomes romantically involved. Oh, and this doesn't say that, but of course, hilarity ensues. So we have this, we have all the great tropes, right? The um, secret government organization that is so secret no one knows it exists. It gets money, but no one knows how they get their money. And there's lots of overreach in this government that puts questions in Nikita's mind as to just how righteous and just this international anti-terrorist organization really is. Now, of course, we have our character in one version of this. Excuse me. She's framed so that she has to make a choice that's not really much of a choice. It's like either rot in prison or join this organization. Um, Versions of it have her where she's either framed or actually commits the crime, either one, depending on how the story goes. But of course, this young individual is this, so not just highly trained, but is a prodigy of sorts, and is able to wear sexy outfits and like I said, murder pixie. So she's able to be underestimated in the public eye before blowing people's heads off and slashing throats and things like that. And of course, the character has a unrealistic, dare I say, fantastical propensity for extreme violence, yet seems disturbed by her own uh, bestial nature. Able to do the damn thing, feels bad about it, but does it anyway, right? And we get a lot of that. So what can we draw from this? Well, the one thing that we can draw from it is there's a high level of skill and ability, and the ability to think on one's feet. It is a bit of a ABC 1, 2, 3 storytelling, in the sense that yeah, Shice is like, yeah, all countries have super secret black ops, uh, things like these. It's just they do boring stuff. I once actually considered applying for the CIA. This was back when, oh man, 18, 19, 20. And in Philly, they have anyway, downtown Philadelphia, near the clothespin, there's a big building. It's very recognizable, iconic. And you could go down there to apply for jobs, federal jobs, city jobs, county jobs, which is how I joined the federal government, worked for the Treasury Department before I became a postal worker. But when applying for federal jobs, you could apply to be like an FBI agent, CIA, and things like that. And one of the things you needed to become a CIA agent, of all things, is an accounting degree. And it's because it's not the super secret, knock list kind of thing where it's just like you're a super spy. Actually, they needed people who were detail oriented and wouldn't get bored with the details. There's their philosophy. What I learned in was that it wasn't that they needed you to run streets wearing costumes and running across borders, dodging people, things like that. It was basically listening and reading and going over documents and things like that. So if you had to listen to long conversations and be very bored, but still keep your attention, accounting was the way that they would weed out those who just thought it would just be some kind of spy thriller run and gun, which it really wasn't. It was more like, no, we're going to put you in Montana somewhere listening to conversations all day long, or reading documents, things like that. Yeah. Dead Man says the movie was based on a book. The series was based on the movie. Also, Nikita in the series was a drug addicted prostitute living in a flop house, and the cop she killed came back in season 2. I didn't realize when the cop came back, but she realized she was framed for it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Nikita there was a rebooted show just simply called Nikita and such. But yeah, it's a manic pixie murder hobo kind of story. The accountant who loved me just doesn't have the same ring to it, though. Yeah. I want to be a spy. Get your accounting degree. Really? Because I've got all these, I got gun skills, I got ninja skills. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, agencies nobody knows exist. It's just there's no action hero stuff. Yep. If any action happens, it's a big F up. Yep. It is. Yeah. Absolutely. You're so right. It's like the minute guns start firing and blades getting pulled and you've got to get pulled out of something at the last, out of like picked up at the border of a country at the last minute or something like that. That means you didn't do your job right. Yeah. So okay, so what can we pull from La Femme Nikita? Well, first of all, the idea that a character who comes from humble beginnings is a great start to a thing. Meaning, our main character was a subject that, very much like the military tries to do, they want to make you a clean slate. So they need to scrub your personality of all the barriers that are going to prevent them from dumping into it all the skills they need. And sometimes the perfect candidate is the one that is unlikely. So if we want to get more fantastical with it, Steve Rogers, Captain America, is a perfect example. Steve Rogers' character before he becomes Captain America is like this scrawny kid, and he's trying his best, but he has, except for someone realizes that his heart and his mind is his super weapon, that he, and then of course we have the pivotal scene in Captain America where during his training, a grenade gets thrown, and the very first thing he does without hesitation is surround his body over the grenade and tell everybody to run away. And then all the big burly guys that supposedly are going to be the super soldier in the program run. right? That's and so that becomes like, oh, that's the guy, so some look at him and go, he's a great candidate. Others look at him and go, I need an absorbent towelette because I'm a little moist right now, right? And it's like, yeah, that's the very thing that makes that person great. And Nikita, La Femme Nikita, in the character in the show, the street girl living in the flop house, all drugged out and stuff, that weighs, um, a buck and a little bit, becomes like this master assassin, and despite her better judgment, and it becomes that way when Michael and these other people start training her, and Michael starts falling for her. The character, the actor that plays Michael's pretty hilarious because he's this like emotionless, roboticized, apathetic individual, and they do some pretty funny things to give him emotion, which is pretty cool. It's very the techniques they use to give him emotion are um theatrical, and I love it. I'll talk about it in a minute, but it's pretty. They use a lot of symbology in for his character, and I like it. Drew says, detail oriented, that I am, but I probably would not be a good fit for the CIA since I have a conscience. Yeah, you're gonna have to. You better pack that up and put it away. Yeah, unfortunately, like military spy work, things like that, and of course in La Femme Nikita, the television series, the beginnings of it are she's given instructions to eliminate people, to spy on people, to turn over the lives of individuals she doesn't know the full story about, and she starts to get a conscience about, does this person deserve to die? I remember in the movie Point of No Return, I guess in the movie Wanted, it's the male version of it where our main character is trained as an assassin, and has to push. He has heart palpitations basically and panic attacks, and he's got to push past it to become like, I guess, get his adrenaline to reach a higher level, and able to bend bullets and things like that. Wanted kind of fits into this realm where you have a an office worker, a know nothing in many ways, and becomes a super assassin and such. Yeah, accountants are important. They save you from prison. Yeah, always got to get the accountant to launder that money. I was offered a money laundering thing when I was young. Deal, whatever. Yeah, it was crazy in my neighborhood. They were like, you're basically, I was a nerd in the hood, and was offered an opportunity to be a opportunity to launder some money. Someone was going to set me up on a business, and then they would funnel their money through that business, and I would get a percentage of it. And I was just like, how do I say no to this? Yeah, Deadman says the series Chuck also ran with a similar premise. Yep. Now, I wasn't a Chuck viewer, but yes, that Chuck, exactly. It's the La Femme Nikita, Chuck, same thing, right? Humble character, come to find out, a number of movies were based around this, but yeah, humble character, find out that they have really great skills. Alias, similar function as well, the TV series Alias. Adon says, I'm detail oriented, but also lazy, so I became a programmer instead. I don't know. You might be all right. Yeah. You know how Leon the cleaner is drinking milk all the time? I wonder how much estrogen he bioaccumulated from that. Oh, yeah, that's my movie. Hey, yeah, that's kind of my movie. Leon, it has a number of names. I think I saw it as simply titled The Professional. Everyone. You know why I stopped murdering your family? Because the music stopped. Get it? It's just really wild. Very wild. Yeah, shit lords. Yeah. That's been a great uh a an organized crime thing, right? Like the I know how to go after the criminals, tax evasion. Yep. Yep, that was the big secret in taking down Capone and a bunch of other people. Yep. It was plain old tax evasion. So, man, this light is bright at the corner of my vision. Woo. Much better. All right. So, here's some other things that we can pull from Le Femme Nikita and all of its Chuck and oh, there's a comedy action movie based on the same thing. But the accountant alias and that kind of thing is our government agency itself. So our government agency is always under fire, let's say. And so the very patron that our character or characters are working for is also the one that we might need to watch out for and take down. Now, initially, of course, player characters are like, what? Working against us, we're going to punch them in the throat and destroy everything. But the reason why our our main characters don't immediately go, I'm being backstabbed and I need to take them down. The reason for that is simply because this is the same agency that knows all your secrets, that you really know all the details of all the other individuals that also work for this organization. It would be like James Bond as 007, who knows all the other 8 or 9 double O's that exist in the world and could be sent after him, and knows that, hey, I might be a badass, but and sure, could I beat these punk asses one on one? Yes, but you send 2, 3, 4 double O's after me, and I got some trouble to deal with. And that is a limiting factor. I'm going to bring up Vampire the Masquerade again. In Vampire the Masquerade, you're a badass vampire, and sure, one on two, you could beat ass with other vampires. But if you commit a crime or break one of the tenets, that means all the other clans have permission to go after you, and that's kind of dangerous, right? That is simply the where you don't want to be. And so we do get this. You can send across the idea to your other players, like, oh, no, you could try to take the organization down, but remember, the ones that trained you trained 50 other people who are, oops, sorry, um something fell, sorry. I've got a RPG stuff in front of me, and I've got these like playing, not playing cards, but they're like they are cards that help tell stories and things like that. And I've got a bunch of them, and they're they're just in these cases. They fell off to the side. I should do a review of them. They're about 5 or 6 years old, and they're like location cards, and they've got like one side of the card tells you the location, the other side's got yeah, it's on air normality. Yep. um so there's a map on one side and details on the other side and stuff. You can very quickly put them together. I'm surprised this company didn't do it again, because they're pretty sweet. They're pretty sweet. Anyway, sorry, distractions off on the side. Yeah. Yeah, Anon says, let's be honest, none of the other agencies are any more ethical, so might as well stick with the devil you know. It, yeah, yeah, exactly, right? Like it's are we all doing evil things for what we perceive to be good? Yes. And so the Alias is another television show that I really liked at the time, and came a bit later, but same thing, same concept, right? Hey, we're anti-terrorists, we're on the good guy side, and then you find out they're doing evil things, but then you're doing evil things, and it's navigating shades of gray. So yeah. Yeah. Caligula's is like, yeah, I heard hot female Asian science students make good spies. Yes. Well, that was one of the rebooted shows, simply called Nikita. I forget the actress's name. She's like a little pixie too. She's like 4.5 feet tall and stuff. And she's all face, like beauty, right? Some people are just faces and such. She's a great actress too. I can't remember her name. Oh, she always plays like Yeah, she's a little pixie too, just all face, little tiny skinny body. Yeah, they know you're talking about them. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, official title in the US is Leon. Uh there we go. Dead man. Dead man puts out. Yeah. The official title in the US, Leon colon the professional. The title in France where the movie was made is Leon. But I remember in like a blockbuster or something, it was called simply the professional. And then like a distributor put it out and then it got its real name, which is Leon the Professional, which was the real title of it, but they just anyway, yeah. Um Maggie Q, thank you. Damn, dead man, you were always on it. Maggie Q, yes. She's been in a lot of she's like one of those she's another one of those person that's in that thing. You ever watch television or movies or something and you just snap your fingers and you're like clapping your hands like it's yeah, so and so, that person in that thing that did that other thing with the thing. Yeah, she's one of those. Yeah. Maggie Q. Yeah. Like I said, she's all face. And there's a bunch of them that are like that, right? Like actors and actresses that are you look at them and you're like, you're just a face, aren't you? But anyway, the of course, shadow organizations and whether they're good or not, and playing with the gray and letting your players know up front, there's probably not a good chance you're going to air quotes take the government organization down. You just have to navigate. And players like going shopping. They like their big ass guns and they like all their equipment. Fighting against their no good organization means that they might have less opportunity to uh, have guns and things for them. Yep, she also did Agents of Shield, yeah, and a bunch of other television shows here and there that were like 1-2 seasons long and then disappeared. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I know it as a professional too. And frankly, I thought that movie was beyond absurd, unintentional comedy, and ruined the cool character from Femme Nikita. It was. Listen, I I still like the professional Leon the professional. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I I judge it a little higher. There was some comedic elements in it. Um, Gary Oldman was hamming it up, but yeah, I've been shadow banned. Hmm. No. All right. But anyway, okay. Um, other elements. Let me. You guys are distracting me. So here are some other things that I pulled out of my ass that we can take from it. So of course we have to world hop. If you're gonna bother doing spy stuff, you got to world hop. So finding interesting, um, um, notable locations around the world and in science fiction, other locations, habs, planets, places like that. You gotta world hop. You have to go to have meetings in dark corners with people exchanging redacted documents and whatever, microchips and thumb drives and things like that. You have to have a ton of the tropes like the I can't say this over the phone. You have to meet me on I'm about to get murdered pretty soon hill. Meet me there. And then of course someone meets them there after the commercial break and they arrive and that person is in the process of or has already been murder killed, even though they call it a suicide because he jumped off the building twice, set himself on fire, drank poison, shot himself in the head 3 times, and then ran himself over with a car. Right? Yeah, gotta. Uh-oh. Did I do something? My comments weren't showing up the whole time. How did you notice the oddity? Hmm. Now, there is a way for me to post all of your comments up into the video. I don't know if you guys would prefer that instead. So I can list them. I can list your. I normally don't because I know I understand sometimes you want them listed, sometimes you don't. but I could just make that a standard and just have all of your comments listed, which is fine. But yeah, world hopping, you got to do a lot of world hopping. Now, I've got about 2 or 3 examples of rules we can use to world hop. So one of those is, and is an easy one, is just find yourself. Oh, okay, good. One of those is just find yourself a monumental, well-known location and take your players there. Um, Statue of Liberty, the Eiffel Tower, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Egyptian Sphinx and or pyramids, and we can go on and on. There are some skylines that are easy to find. There's like that uh, a number of hotels in Dubai that are known. The go to any place that is the highest, tallest, deepest, widest, most known, oddest, black sand beaches, pink sand beaches, uh, tallest mountains tops, all of these locations, find them. There are the Hollywood sign. What's Bourbon Street, New Orleans. The CN Tower, which there's a similar version in Seattle, the Seattle Needle, and you guys can list a bunch of these. In the comments, list about 3 notable places that people will go. That when you look at it in the image, you go, I know where that is. Oh, Moscow's Russian Square, the buildings that are there. There's another one. There's a temple in India that is well known. There's images of it known. There's places in the Middle East, religious locations that are each known for what it looks like. Whether it's I was about to. Why is my brain is farting? Italy, Rome, Catholic Church, Vatican. Wow, the Vatican. So having things happen in rooms with windows that look out to these places. Woof. I had to stop at some point. Look out to these places is very cool. How the hell these people get there within moments? Because a lot of times you look at it and you're like, you do realize the fastest airline flight's like 26 hours, but whatever the case may be. As long as you see a map and string with a little plane at the front of the string and it goes from one place to another real quick, then that's all that matters, right? Shitlord says, let's put this comment up here. Yeah, I'm not sure about Reeperbahn, but I do know about the Autobahn. Red Light District in Amsterdam, pretty much all of Prague. Prague is in so many Americanized television and movies. It's crazy. There are places, there's other places, while not as notable, but we see them a lot. A lot of television shows are filmed in Canada, and so there's a lot of Canadian background that becomes Americanized with digital effects. So there's a lot of Canada in American movies. They're like, hey, this is a great city to film in because it's cheap, but we're going to turn it in New York. I'm not sure where that is. Oh. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Pamukale? Pamukal? Macau? Pamukal? The Cotton Castle is a good one. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know where that is. I'm sure someone knows where that is. And I bet I know it from sight. I may not know the name of it. There's a lot of these places that I don't even know the names of, but I go, oh yeah. I know where that. You see it in the background, and a lot of these places are used in spy thrillers. So of course you know that. Another one is I mentioned ABC 123 storytelling, or at least I've heard it described this way. Another way to describe it is square peg round holing, in the idea that you set up the parameters of how easy a mission is. Hey, you're going to fly to distant location. You're going to pick up documents. You're then going to eliminate said individual that hands over documents, right? Oh, okay. In Turkey, yeah, I don't know where these places are, but I guarantee you, I know what it looks like. Um, and I'll put this up here as well. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation is Gobelki Tepe or Tepe. I don't know how to pronounce that. It reminds me of the Gobbler's Knob in Indiana. Anyway, the one of the things in explaining what the ramifications of a simple object, and then what happens is everything goes to shit. So you have arrive in location, pick up MacGuffin, and then eliminate person who handed you the MacGuffin in the first place. And so that's the ABC. And then what we have are our preparations, our skills, our talents, our badassery, and it goes 1, 2, 3. Oh, we're going to arrive there. We're going to, flash our passports. We know they're fake, but we're going to go through customs. We're going to arrive in the train station, the mall, in front of the temple, in the town square, someplace public. Maybe we're going to go someplace private, a dark alley, a sewer, a rooftop, a hotel room, and exchange of things. And then lastly, we're going to eliminate the subject or person or whatever that hands it to us. That's the 1, 2, 3. So we're prepped for ABC in that order. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. And then what happens is we take those and we mix them up. So maybe characters arrive and they're detained. Maybe they arrive and get through customs, but someone notifies someone else about their whereabouts and that they arrived. Maybe they arrive in a location and a rival is like, I'm not going to stop you, but I just want to let you know we're on the same trail too. Or they arrive, and when they arrive, they realize that not themselves, but maybe some other actions are happening. A political demonstration turns into a riot. There is a lockdown by the military, paramilitary that's in this location. Maybe there's a festival going on. There has been, I don't know, some kind of a weather event is happening, like hail or flooding or snow or heat wave is happening. And this may have some effect on power outages or whatever. Maybe there's some other crime happening, like hackers or terrorists or I don't know, just even kids disrupting the city with their spray painting and parkour or something, and that becomes a foreshadow to other events that may disrupt what's going on. Maybe there is like Monaco, there's some kind of like event happening where many of the rich and famous are also here, maybe politically or corporately, or maybe they're just rich and famous and they don't care and they shut the city down. And so now there's higher security and there's bodyguards and there's mercenaries that are on the payroll of these very rich and famous individuals. And the PCs are like, oh no, that means there's going to be more security and things like that. So you disrupt the ABC and they have to reorganize their 1, 2, 3. So it's supposed to be the oldest man-made structures ever discovered in Southwest Turkey. Göbekli Tepe. I wish I can't copy and paste. I was going to look it up. I don't know. I was going to look it up. Maybe I can get an image of it. Let's see. Get some images. I'll throw this up here. So there it is. Yep. I got it. All right. I wish I could just drag this and turn it on, but I can't. There it is. Anon says, RPG related, sometimes games skip over the parts a character was designed to address. 4X, skipping over the steps to get to the set piece locations. For example, skipping over the steps to get to the set piece locations. Exactly. And it's funny because I'm a big proponent of the exploration part of gaming, that tends to be overlooked because we tend not to have the language or the rules to involve ourselves in such a thing. We have our, like, for example, our main characters always go to the deepest parts of deserts, the highest mountains, the densest jungles, the thickest rainforests, the the deepest trenches and things like that. And a lot of times it's skipped over. We just know they're in the desert with, wrapped in their cloth and goggles and weapons that are like, I don't know, just randomly strapped with tape and cloth and things like that. And they're riding on camels or whatever. And we never explain how they got there or what it took to get there. They just happen to be there and are skilled enough to do such a thing. Sometimes in paramilitary shows, we'll see them like they're on a big cargo plane and then they halo jump and then they arrive and then there's like equipment that follows them and they fall into the water and then they swim up on shore and then they do the classic SEAL reveal, the undisturbed waters, and then suddenly the head slowly comes out of the water with their automatic weapons and their faces painted black and camo and whatnot. Far more paramilitary style, but still the same thing. In more spy movies, we of course have like the passing by a stranger who hands off a suitcase that looks identical to the one you're carrying, and you just switch suitcases and keep walking. Sometimes there's the bump and dump where someone bumps into you and either puts a note in your pocket or a key or a hard drive or a thumb drive or thumbnail. Not a digital thumbnail or a real thumbnail, but a thumb drive in your pocket, or you pass them something. Also, there's also the strange, I arrive in random country, there's already a place I know of, a safe house, one of those lockers in the airport that I just happen to have a code for that opens up, that happens to have all the things I need, that just happens to be here in this random wall. Or you go to a place and move a dirty poster and there's like an eye scan and you scan your eye and you go inside of it and it looks like an old train station, but really inside the train car is like this high-tech location with guns and digitized masks you can print out for yourself and things like that. So yeah, all the goodies happen to be somehow in this place hidden in plain sight. But that's a really cool thing to do, especially if you're hand waving. But I do agree with you there, Anon, that sometimes games do skip over the parts a character was designed to address, and that goes to, this is a little meta, but reward the behavior you want to see. So in other words, sometimes we see a game, and when it comes to like online talking about the game, there's like what we call dump stats, right? There's no reason to have this statistic or this skill or this equipment because it does not come into play. And what we can do as game masters is make that thing important. So in other words, there may be a certain set of skills, like I don't know, like with Dungeons and Dragons, like medicine skill or the intelligence stat. That's like, well, you might as well dump it because you never use it, you never roll it, it doesn't come into play. But part of that is our fault for not making it a necessary and equally influential part of the game. I will blame the game that there are aspects that are not threatened, therefore that vector of threat doesn't exist. So if you only have hit points as a threat, then reputation or money or social status or mental stress or these things never come into play. Therefore, they're not a threat. Therefore, you never involve it. And that goes for exploration, right? In many games, there's no penalty and no benefit to taking the time to explore a location. And in Spycraft, that's actually sometimes necessary, exploring like the corners of a place, sneaking through dark alleys, going into sewers, going into the HVAC systems, parachuting, gliding, flying, rappelling, into locations is also very common, as well as like climbing, sneaking, hiding, stealing identities, um, pass cards, key cards, changing your clothing, being in places where having all those big heavy weapons and all that hoarding that players like to do isn't possible, like sneaking into a hospital or an office building or a fashion show or something like that. Also in La Femme Nikita, we have the sense that we know, tickling the back of our brain, that there's something wrong with the mission itself. So it may not be that the mission goes wrong. It may be that we're being foreshadowed that there's something wrong with the mission parameters, meaning like you're sent to go kill some kind of like political individual, and then you find out this political individual is really a good person, and they're like, this person is evil, and you're like, no, they aren't. Why am I sent to go kill this individual and eliminate them? Maybe they're trying to start, and the players may discover through conversations or listening into eavesdropping, or finding documents, or being set up, that they find out that no, the player characters are actually being set up, and they're going to become the fall guy. A lot of left behind enemy lines kind of storytelling happens this way, where um, another assassin group has already committed the crime, and the players are getting blamed for it and getting framed for it. There's also the disavowalment of the characters. Hey, you're going to go on this thing. Just rest assured, you know that if something goes wrong, we're going to disavow you and we're not coming for you. And the minute the players step into town, it's like, oop, we're done with you. Wash their hands of you. And the PCs may be left behind as well. And there might be strange bedfellows, let's say, um, meaning like the government or the agency that they normally would think they would have conflict with, they might actually have to go to them to get help. There's also some other types of things are the players may gather together evidence, like it's kind of half heist, half assassination, half detective work. So meaning that as they are fulfilling a mission, they're also gaining information against the people they're working for, getting one clue after another clue after another clue. And once they get, if you use the standard of 3, once they get their third clue, now it's like, this is what they've been planning for us to do. They're trying to start a border skirmish or nuclear war, or destabilize an economy, or they're really working for corporate overlords instead. We're not working for the good. We're working for the good of someone's pockets or whatever. And these innocent individuals that live here in this valley are going to be the subject of being irradiated, or getting their water table poisoned, or getting their resources stolen from underneath them because they don't know the value of the resources that they're on. I'm looking at you, most of Africa. There may be a lot of like resource extraction is a big thing in spy thrillers, and we can extend this out into science fiction, meaning like when you go to distant planets and habitats and things like that, it's pretty easy to leave spies behind and let them go out on their own. Yeah, we're all yeah, we are all working for corporate overlords here on YouTube. Yep. Yeah, YouTube owned by Google, which is and then they're pushing certain things, and the algo dials keep getting adjusted. How often have we seen some of the largest YouTubers complain about the algorithms being adjusted, and how to have a YouTube streaming career, you have to play the algorithm whack-a-mole in trying to appease the algorithms that appease the look and stuff like that. Yeah, resource extraction from asteroids is a really good one, and the players might be involved in something like that, or trying to stop it, or confound it, or something of that nature. Like, for example, how do we know? Maybe there's an asteroid that's like, I don't know, pull something out of my ass. It's pure platinum or some other rare element. Maybe actually nitrogen's pretty pretty rare. But anyway, let's say it's pure platinum, and it's about the size of, I don't know, small country or something. And the PCs are supposed to go there and eliminate the enemy. And much like the butcher of Anderson Station in The Expanse, maybe you as a space marine arrive and you realize they're just women and children and innocent people that live on this rock. The fact that it happens to be pure platinum wasn't even their point. They were just trying to live their life, but the players may be tasked with literally eliminating all life on this thing and haul this asteroid back to, and we're going to put it in orbit around Mars and extract Gugob's technical term, gazillions of credits and dollars and value from this pure platinum asteroid. But those pesky people living on it need to go. And the players might be like, do they protect the people? Do they follow through with it and eliminate everyone? Are they set up, do it, and realize, ooh, by accident we did a thing? Or do they leave and go, well, I'm not doing it, but I really don't care about the people, so I'm just going to ignore it? And any of those decisions should have ramifications. And that in itself could be a mission that the players are tasked with having to live with, right? It may be that the players are like, hey, maybe the players ignore what's happening, but they don't defend them. Maybe they feel a little bit guilty, and so now other places, other space stations are like, we don't like you at all because you let them die. You could have done something to stop it. Whereas the corporate entities or the mission parameter people are like, you didn't follow our instructions, therefore you are excommunicated or whatever, excommunicado or whatever the case may be. And maybe there's a hunt and kill thing sent after the player characters. So that's just a little small thing. Also, when it comes to hard science fiction, going to different habs, sneaking into those habitats, trying to figure out how you can maintain your secret identity when there's lots of oversight and self-surveillance, ubiquivalence, as I coined the term. People watching the watchers, because technically self-surveillance is like watching the watchers, whereas ubiquivalence is there's always recordings everywhere all the time by everyone, not necessarily the people, the common folk watching the Big Brother. But anyway, yeah, that's also a thing. The another aspect of this, and this is a little bit more player centric and player focused, is the underestimation of our player characters. Meaning, like, they may have skills that are not. They seem like they're not relevant up front, but then we realize that their so-called useless skills come into play later, like a cooking skill, a dancing skill, a carpentry skill in the far future, I don't know, public speaking skill or poetry skill. And then, yeah, Drew says, yeah, social pressure through everybody watching everybody else. Yep. Yep, Panopticon. Hashtag Panopticon. Yeah. Eclipse Phase has a book called Panopticon. Yeah. Never played Descent, but I've heard really good things about it. Yeah, have you ever played the spaceship game Descent, where you have to stop the evil mining robots, or Total Annihilation, where you have to do all this mining to build your robot army? Never played those games, and never had the time to go into like resource acquisition games where you like get resources to build a thing, to do a thing, to get something else done, which I like. My mindset is one where I like that kind of stuff, but never been able to just sit down and do it. And I used to have a ton of like Sid Meier civilization building type games that I really love, and never did it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Panopticon. Drew says, I started yesterday working on my own Panopticon scenario. Yep. I think because South Valence, I know I'm butchering the name. and how is it? So surveillance. Surveillance is the recording of an activity by a member of the public rather than a person or organization in authority, typically by way of small, wearable, or portable personal technologies. And you see people like if you're wearing a it's like body camming is basically what it means. And then there's covalence, which is watching the watchers. That's it. Covalence is watching the watchers. Surveillance is wearing recording by the public. For me, I think a bigger one is like the panopticon, which is like everyone's recording everything and stuff like that. Yeah, it can get a little bit, it can get a little bit complicated. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I never had time for them either. Yeah, but yeah, I was big during the heyday of the Sid Meier's games, and so I love those. Um, so another part of like the spy heist exploration kind of thing is like finding out where something is, how to get it, and then using techniques to go get it. Now, I understand that the hour and a half of your players planning something for them to just break down and start running and gunning is a little bit wild, which is why Blades in the Dark is so well regarded, because it is all the rules you need for a heist without any of the downside of having to plan a heist. So in Blades in the Dark, you have what's known as a loadout, meaning like you can carry light, medium, or a heavy load of stuff with you, and it has a mechanical drawback based on your heavier loads, but you never have to detail what you're carrying. So if you need lock picks, you just say, I'm carrying a light load, which means I have 3 tools. I'm going to say one of my tools is lockpick set. Now, once you pull the lockpick set out, it's like quantum equipment, right? The minute you pull the lockpick set out, well, that means now you only have 2 slots left, and one of those slots is filled with lockpicks. I'm using a similar system for Obsidian Star, where you have a technology and you can print out tools and weapons and or armor or other miscellaneous objects from your tech level that you have with you, or tech category rather that you have with you. Yeah, the best Sid Meier's game is Alpha Centauri, which I think I still have the box hanging around the house somewhere. And its expansion pack, Alpha Centauri Alien Crossfire. Yep. Spoiler alert. At least one of the games you land on a planet, and the planet is actually alive and it has an intelligence all its own. Sorry for ruining the game for you, but yeah. Oh shit. Make time for the finer things in life. Y'all need to get on welfare. Yeah. Get that in a colostomy bag. Just get a pump in at least a few of my holes, and snacks around me. Yep. Witcher 3 and Baldur's Gate for all eternity? Yep, absolutely. There won't be another Baldur's Gate. I just heard that they couldn't make another deal. So sorry, Baldur's Gate fans, they won't make another one. That's unfortunate. They'll have to work through another company, and it might not be the same quality. And it took them years to get the quality of that game, from what I understand. I've never played the game. I've seen playthroughs, but I haven't played the game itself. We're getting to the end. Real quick, La Femme Nikita, a bunch of things here. Okay. Player characters being the head of a cadre of other soldiers, spies, assassins is kind of cool. Put in their hands like, hey, there's 6 other people you're working with. You get to tell them where to go, what to do, to triangulate or follow someone that and you're trying not to be seen. So it's like surveillance, counter surveillance, stealth, counter stealthing is also a big thing in spy work. So not only do you have to follow someone and ensure, it's like perception versus investigation versus stealth skilling, you also have to make sure you're hidden, which might be like this weird how much more investigative vigilance do you want versus your stealthiness, which is like, yeah, you can rank up your stealth, but you're going to lose track of someone. So that may be something. I talk about the run and gun, but you have to have a good chase scene, at least one on foot and one in a vehicle. Now, I'm gonna describe foot chases in general, and I know it's going to sound a little bit strange, but just follow me with this. A chase scene is nothing more, or is the equivalent of you standing still and the environment around you shifts from one to another. So if you've seen plenty of commercials, maybe in the past, more so recently, where you have a person talking to us about some kind of like medication or investment plan or life insurance or something, and the person is talking to us and walking very slowly, and the background keeps changing. Like maybe they're on set and the set keeps changing. So a chase is really just our characters going from set piece to set piece to set piece and then navigating that set piece. So when it comes to roof running, right? Roof running might require climbing, scaling up to a higher level. There's also the jump, scale down to a lower level. There's the great leap across an alleyway, a street, or something like that. There's the balance factor in a roof run where you have to balance on a ladder or a ledge or slide down a rope or a wire or a cable. There are dilapidated buildings where you might fall through a roof. There are angled rooftops with roof shingles that you may slide down. You could add in some weather events, high wind, rain, hail, that kind of thing. There's also jumping through windows and running through office buildings or up and down, what are they called? Stairwells and fire escapes and all those sorts of things like that. And of course, there's a couple of maybe gunshots that happen. You could have some blaster fire, add in some altered gravity in that, and add a dome over top of it, like in a hab city, or a spinning hab where the gravity is through spin. So you're actually, if you look up, you're actually looking up at the rest of the city. So that may have something to do with it. There's chase scenes on top of vehicles like trains, cable cars, trucks, sports cars, motorcycles, things of that nature. And again, it's a set piece that keeps moving. Now, if you're on a vehicle, technically you're on a set piece that keeps moving through other set pieces. So if you're on a 18-wheeler tractor trailer kind of thing, you're on a set piece that has a roof to it. It has an internal space. It has a driver and a cab section. You can dangle off of it, but you're also on other set pieces. So are you in a city? Are you on a highway? Are you going through an overpass? Do you have to duck because you're going through a tunnel? Are there other vehicles slamming into it? Is that vehicle itself going to lose control or slam into other things? And so you can really add to it. You could set it on fire. You could have a bomb inside of it. You could have soldiers that are riding on the sides of or inside of a large truck. Just using examples. A very classic one is the one from Indiana Jones, the Temple of Doom, the very first movie where he's throat punching people and he ends up getting thrown off of the front of the truck, falls under the wheels, slides under the wheels with his attached himself to the whip, climbs back into the vehicle, and again does those little explosive punches that like the punches have like a little bit of an echo to them, but it's pretty fun. And so Indiana Jones style action, very much so. And Shai says living planet dimension showed up in a planescape module, the demi-plane that lives in the infinite staircase. I didn't know that. I mean, living dimensions is a good thing. Didn't know where they would show up, but yeah, giant size living dimensions. What is it? Dungeons inside of living creatures, that kind of thing is awesome. Pretty awesome. Yeah. How about God of War 3? Never played the God of War games, but I've seen playthroughs. I had a brother-in-law that played through a lot of those. a lot of the God of War games, but a lot of puzzle games. I did a video on things we can learn from puzzle games like God of War, Zelda games, and there's some other side ones like like Earthworm Jim, and oh, there's another one with these puppets, rag dolls that have to escape, and you play this rag doll that's helping the other people escape from their imprisonment or something. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Puzzle games are a really good thing for exploration that I believe Anon was also talking about. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Didn't talk too much about the Femme, Nikita, but you kind of get the point, right? Like, we have a lot of examples of it when it comes to gaming, and a great way to make, like, yeah, God of War is a puzzle game. I thought it was all hack and slash. Not all of it. There. Well, here's an example. There's a puzzle gaming, right? You have to swim from one end of a tunnel to another. There's no way for you to swim from one end of the tunnel to another. So that means you have to unlock the puzzle. That puzzle could be getting the helmet of Neptune or a trident of Neptune that allows you to breathe underwater to get from one place to another. It could be a key, like a latch, a lever, a wheel that you have to spin that drains the water to swim from one place to another. It could be finding air pockets that you didn't realize were there, but someone lets you know. Or if you swim halfway there, there's a stone you can push, and if you push that stone, it lets you put your head up into a air pocket to get your breath, to get your life score or your air breathing score back up or something. So puzzle gaming, moving rooms around and aspects of things, moving bricks around, and getting keys to unlock a thing that lets an elevator move or whatever. Puzzle game. And video games do that a lot. Or puzzle gaming, video games do it a lot, which we can steal from for our tabletop role playing is what I'm trying to say. Woo, that's funny. I wonder if there's like a visual list of let's see, best Zelda puzzles, and I wonder if there's some. It's difficult to like get a visual of them because I was gonna like put some out there, but it's difficult to get them because some of these are like mazes, others are simply just unlocking a thing to get a thing done, to realize you can get to the other thing. Yeah, there's jigsaw puzzles. Yeah, water puzzles, moving room puzzles, things like that. But whatever. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. We'll talk about Obsidian Star tomorrow. I have a HAB creation system. I don't know why I do this. It reminds me of marathons, lots of busy work between all the shooting. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, it's just like busy. All right, now the action starts again. Yeah, do a thing to get a thing to do another thing. Yep, very much so. This is word bot censorship, isn't it? Are you still having the issue with your comments or something? Because you can go in it, at least on YouTube, you can toggle certain comments, right? You can toggle between the top comment, live comments or something like that, because I'm not sure. And I hear you saying the word censorship. I got an issue with using censorship, but yeah. Technically, it's not censorship. I mean, we hate it, but it's technically it's not censorship, because when you're in someone else's home, they get to set the rules, and despite the fact we think it's free, it's not. So we're yeah. All my good comments don't show up, and I know it's not you blocking them. It's word bots. I don't block anything. Yeah, dude. Let me like if I see it and it comes up, then I'll post it up. But I don't post everything. I just I do the talky talk back and forth, and I know you guys are maybe on mobile devices or you got spell check and things that are happening. So a lot of times, like I won't put a comment up because I understand what you're saying. I'm not here to. I'm not one to ding you on like a weird misspelling or phraseology that I know you didn't mean. So that's another reason why I sometimes don't put comments up, because that's the point is what you're trying to say and what you're saying, not how something is spelled. And I don't want other people to. It's my face people can make fun of. I don't want people picking at things that don't matter. That's what I mean. Yeah, Deadman says, and there's Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom with motion controls for Switch controlling puzzles in some dungeons. Yes, yeah. Now I haven't been a big Zelda player as well. The Zelda games kind of came. I was a little older for those games, so I wasn't like in the heyday of those games, but I appreciate their existence. And you're right, Deadman. Like there were some that were motion control puzzles where like you would teeter tot on things, or you had to glide through a series of puzzles, puzzle environment dangers or obstacles and things like that. Says, I mean, I'm talking about something from La Femme Nikita that's against the law, and none of them show up on the chat. Really? Okay, so the only thing I have now, here's an issue. Is it possible where you're streaming from that is having an issue with chatting? Right? Like meaning like maybe it's your region. Is that possible? And it could be YouTube does have does slam down on certain comments. Like I see how you guys are able to type in a comment to go against, just in case YouTube triggers a written word, and which I really appreciate you guys doing that. More so than a little bit. But yeah. That might be some. Maybe we might do a video and talk about that. Yeah, Taste Spinoff says, yes, people always want to argue to the fine points about the definition of censorship. Yeah, it's censorship is here's my fine point. Censorship is a governmental thing, a government preventing you from expressing yourself. Any other thing that stops you from saying what you want is based in the rights or not the rights of the corporation, school, home, business, whatever that prevents you from doing a thing, but that's not censorship. Like if you come to my house and I tell you that you're not allowed to say certain things, that's not censorship because you have the ability to say that. There's nothing preventing you from saying what you want to say outside of my home, right? It's just like YouTube. YouTube is going to shut you down from saying certain things, but that's not censorship. You have the right to say it, just not on YouTube, right? You have the right to say things on Facebook. You may be prevented from saying certain things in Facebook, but that's not censorship. You have the right to say it, just not on that platform. So, wow, it printed this time thanks to coded spelling. No, just talking about it happened in the movie. Oh, I bet that's it. I bet that's it. Yeah. Because in La Femme Nikita, the storyline is that she's framed for deleting a officer of the law, and in one version of it, she's framed for it. Like in the television show, that character comes back. Like she finds out that character's still alive. And then I believe in Point of No Return, she does it essentially. She's not innocent. In the movie version of Point of No Return, the Americanized version of the same La Femme Nikita, she's like drugged out or something, and she does it air quotes by accident. And she goes to jail for it, and then she's pulled out of there to be part of this program and stuff. Yeah, censorship is just newspeak for getting your post deleted. Yeah, but you're doing it on a platform that doesn't belong to you. It belongs to somebody else. Right. Yeah, it says no, that's the First Amendment. Censorship is far more general and universal than that. Yeah, exactly. So because some people will say, well, you can't yell fire in crowded locations. There's always been a there, there's no such thing as being able to say anything you want. But most people that say that are just mad because everyone agrees when they hear something that they like. They don't like people saying things they don't agree with. Yep. That's all. So all the blues are dirty anyway. I think you mean all the what is it? All the platforms that use the color blue in them. Yeah, I think I hear you, Drew. Yeah, yeah. Now whether I think something's right or not is funny. It doesn't matter really because there's always going to be people in our society that push things beyond the point at which it's necessary, which is why you have people using hammers to solve things because everything becomes a nail, right? And so while we may go, well, that's wrong because they're shutting me down, I'm sure there's people that you disagree with that you'd be like, I wish someone would shut them down. And that's always the thing. Yeah, it's just it's just new misapplication of the word in modern parlance. Yep. Like how belligerent started to mean drunk when I was in college. Yep. Oh, yeah. Bad meaning bad, not bad meaning good. Yeah. Yeah. You can yell fire in a crowded theater ruled by the Supreme Court. Yeah. Yep. 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 Are you sure? Are you sure that's a thing? I've heard that it can go back and forth, or it's a case by case basis kind of thing. Like if you do a thing that causes an action that's technically not that causes harm to others, that it that's been a that's where what is it called extreme speech, whether you can be charged with a crime if you how much of your words can elicit someone else to commit other crimes or commit harms to themselves and others. How much are you responsible? Yeah. Oh no, it happened to our Eddie Murphy cover song. What? Oh no. Oh wow, that's funny. That's really funny. But yeah, we could even talk. You know what? There, strangely enough, this little segue. Actually, we can actually talk about it. I don't know if we'll do it like Friday, maybe next week or something. Maybe Friday. Because that does come that in science fiction. If you're in a space hab in a small community amongst people where not having paying attention and having control of yourself and your language and your behavior can disrupt a very tightly knit community, even if that community is 10,000 or 100,000 people under a dome on Mars, is very important. And so your words, censorship, your behaviors through legalities, your freedoms might be far more restricted in a space hab than we think we would be comfortable with. And so therefore, the population in a hab might be far more extreme in its behavioral and legal and social structures than we would want there to be. So I says, wow, it happened to me. You can't write the K word to delete somebody. They won't let you post it. I bet it's from your region. I bet what's happening it's from your region because I have the ability to put that word in here. It doesn't have from where I'm at in broadcasting from my region, it doesn't have the same cultural impact and stuff. Yeah, yeah. It ends with a A. Um, Yeah, Drew says cults show that people are willing to restrict their behaviors to the extreme. Yeah, 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 yeah. You can here. Okay, here's my rule on measuring extremism. Okay, and when I say, and I don't mean terrorism, I'm talking about politics and social rules, and whether you belong to a group or you're on the outside of the group. So my rule for the 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 groups that I feel are problematic is, yeah, Deadman says the word kill is allowed in the US. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And incitement laws are a complete can of worms because of how they undermine the concept of personal accountability. I agree. I think personal accountability is like, sorry, damn, there it goes. there it is. Try to, but yeah. Ain't I put in test, kill it with fire. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right. Yeah, yeah. Shice is like, yep, yep, yep. But a lot of that time, a lot of that, I exactly see what you're saying there, Shice. And we can, I think this is a great concept because a lot of those things happen as a reaction to something else happening, right? Like like Drew saying that cults show that people are willing to do extreme restrictions. So my test, it's my Bechtel test for cults, I guess, would be is what happens to you? How are you treated when you are antithetical to that thought process of that group, that organization, that faction, that government, that corporate thing, right? So more harmful they treat you when you disagree with them, or you want to leave that group, or you question that group, the greater propensity I have to think they're just full of shit. Um, okay, guys. Okay. You guys are testing the system. Okay, we're getting out of here because you guys are like are really like pushing the extreme, and I'm going to get my channel canceled. So you guys can work out your thing. We're not here for that. So guys, I'm out of here. But before I get canceled, you guys take it easy. Peace. I'm out.